All right, he's definitely in here. I hear him. I think maybe he's outside. Yep, there he is. Got him. Got him. Whew. Man. You know, this thing has surprisingly good performance. I think I unlocked the meta, man. I do. I think I finally found the PC for everyone. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the RA Visuals YouTube channel, where you can always find high quality visuals and high quality tech. Now, we've been building quite a few computers on the channel lately, and I've done a couple of very expensive builds that are unfortunately out of reach for most people. But I've also done a bunch of very budget-oriented builds lately for people just scraping together money for a gaming PC build out of nowhere. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about all of us in the middle? What about the masses? What about the everyday average Joe or Jane that wants to go out and build a gaming PC with a mid to high budget of, say, like $1,000 to $1,200 bucks? Well, today I'm here to build a PC for everyone. Well, everyone that has $1,000 to $1,200 bucks, or whatever. A PC that absolutely should kick ass at 1080p gaming and even 1440p gaming in some titles. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it. So for the CPU, I have the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X because I already have one here in the studio. It is an 8-core, 16-thread chip with a max turbo of 4.4 gigahertz. And now you can actually find this chip for a very decent price used these days, since it's a couple years old, so that might help you guys save a few bucks if you want to use it as an option.
If you prefer to buy a new chip for your build though, you have a couple other options like the Ryzen 7 5800X, the Ryzen 7 5700G, which has onboard graphics so you can still game for a bit without even getting a dedicated GPU, or you can even step down to the Ryzen 5 5600, which is a super popular and also amazing gaming chip and will save you some money for the rest of their build. And honestly, I'll suggest you guys get that so you save some money on the whole build entirely, and I'll leave a link for it down below.
Now moving on to the motherboard, I'll be using the MSI MPG B550 Gaming Plus motherboard. It's a great mid-range board with everything that you would expect from a board of this price range. And all of the processors we just talked about before should be compatible with this motherboard right out of the box, so you guys should have no issues. It has ample I/O options and comes in a nice all-black colorway with some RGB accents once you turn it on. I personally got an amazing deal on this when I picked it up, and so there may actually be a little bit cheaper options out there for a B550 board if that's what you want. So just make sure your CPU is compatible with the board you guys are picking, and make sure it has all of the I/O options that you guys need. Moving on to the RAM, we're using a 32 gigabyte kit of Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB running at 3200 megahertz. So guys, you could definitely get away with 16 gigs of RAM here and possibly even find a kit with faster speed right now, and maybe even in white, since a lot of this stuff we're going to be using is white. So I'll leave a link to the kit down below that I actually wanted to use for this build, but I already had this kit on hand, so I decided to use it. But guys, if you want to save some money, just go with 16 gigs of something that you guys can find for cheap. And now for our M.2 storage, we're going to be going with an Intel. I know I said this is an all AMD build, but whatever. We're going to use an Intel SSD. Anyway, we're going to go with an Intel 670p series SSD with 1 terabyte of capacity. Now these SSDs are extremely cost efficient, coming in at $100 for a terabyte of space, so it was an obvious choice here. So now for the CPU coolers. So we were sent over some really cool parts from our friends over at Gamdias that we've worked together before, and one of the parts that we're going to be using from them is their CPU cooler they sent over here, which is an all-in-one AIO. It is called their Xiaohong M3 240 in the white colorway. And now you're going to start seeing a theme here, as all of the parts they sent me were in this white colorway. Anyway, this AIO has a 240mm radiator with two 120mm RGB fans that are capable of a ton of really cool RGB effects. And speaking of RGB, the pump features the super popular infinity mirror design that a lot of other manufacturers are using right now, and this thing should be just fine to cool down our build. This cooler is very simple to install and fits just fine in our case. More on that later though. So that was a great segue, so let's move on to the case. So Gamdias also sent over a brand new case to their lineup to put our build in. The new Talos E3 in white is what they sent over to us, and it's a compact mid-tower case with 3 pre-installed ARGB fans and a tempered glass side panel. And it also comes with ample I/O on top of the case, as well as magnetic dust filters. Now, because this case is a little bit compact, I did run into an issue with fitting in the CPU cooler like I was talking about before. It seems that if your motherboard has some thick VRMs like the one I'm using today, a radiator simply won't fit in the top of the case. So that's why I decided to move it to the front. Other than that though, the case is very easy to work in and has plenty of space for all your components. Now, like I said before, the case does come with 3 pre-installed RGB fans, but we're trying to go with a bit of a white theme here. So AMD has sent us over a pack of their Aeolus M2 120mm fans in the white colorway, of course. This way we can match the other components they sent over and add a bit more RGB flair to the build too. Now for the power supply in this build, I actually still had a power supply that AMD sent me over like a year ago or something like that. So I figured why not finally make use of it and put it in this build. It's their Kratos P1 750 watt gold rated power supply. It is a semi-modular power supply with all black cables, a single 12 volt rail, and actually it has an RGB fan on it as well, so that's pretty cool. And to complement this build, I'm going to be using some black and gray cable extensions from Asia Horse that I had laying around. So guys, I use these all the time and they just help really tie in a build. And obviously with this build, I would have loved to use like the all white or like white and black or something like that, but I had these laying around, so I decided to use it. And now for the fun part, the graphics card. So keeping this build, for everyone, or for the masses if you will, I decided to go a little bit more conservative, not really, but just a little bit for the graphics card and try to include a Radeon RX 6600. Look, the box says that 550 million gamers play on AMD Radeon, so this build is for you guys, the gamers. So we had to go for it. The RX 6600 is a card that is positioned as a max setting 1080p card and can even run most games at 1440p if you're looking to target 60 FPS. It has 8GB of GDDR6 memory, supports PCIe 4.0, and our model, the ASRock Challenger, is a bit more of a budget range card but still has a pretty beefy cooler with a dual fan design. Oh, and it also has a nice backplate, which is great to see. Alright, so now that our AMD build for the masses is complete, we need to install Windows and set everything up. And what better way to get Windows installed on a new PC than by saving a ton of money by grabbing a genuine Windows 10 Pro key using today's sponsor, VIP URCD key. And also, if you guys were curious and you wanted to upgrade to Windows 11, you can do that with these keys as well. VIP URCD key has you covered with fully licensed codes to activate your favorite games and software. Purchasing your key is super easy. All you have to do is click on the item that you want, click buy to add it to your cart. Once in your cart, you can now enter my promo code RAV20. After adding the promo code, you'll see your savings pop up, and you can then purchase your product with your chosen payment method. Finding and entering your Windows 10 CD key is super easy. All you have to do is go over to your user profile, find your purchase, and click View Keys and Codes to reveal your new CD key. Then all you have to do is go to Settings in Windows, click on Update and Security, click on Activation, and finally click on Change Product Key and paste your new key into the window and click Next. You'll now have a fully licensed version of Windows 10 with no watermark. Check the links in the description to start saving now. Alright everyone, now that the PC build is complete, there's only one thing left to do. It's for me to tell you to make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you guys can see all of my new future content that's going to be coming out. Alright, but for real, we need to test out this PC and see how it performs in gaming in both 1080p and 1440p, and trust me, you guys will be very surprised at how this thing performs. I know I was. I actually found myself just sitting around on this machine and gaming on it as I would my main PC back there, and I felt very snappy in games to the point where I was actually really enjoying myself. I love this job. Anyway, this is where I'll leave you guys, so thank you for watching this far into the video. I really appreciate it. So you guys have a fantastic day and enjoy the benchmarks.
you.